And again, a lot of families are mourning in Idaho. The accused killer of 4 Idaho college students is now back on his way to that state. 28-year-old Bryan Kohberger arrested in Pennsylvania on Friday at his parents' home. He faces 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary. Kohberger waived his extradition hearing rights on Tuesday and left the Pennsylvania jail early this morning. I'm joined right now by NewsNation contributor Elizabeth Vargas to answer some questions that we've received from some of our viewers. So, Elizabeth, let's start with this one from Silver Spring, Maryland. And I believe it's Elizabeth. This is a shout out to you. I believe we need to be clear that Kohberger is still a suspect, innocent until proven guilty. But does he have any past criminal record? And is there any hint from law enforcement that the suspect in this case may have had accomplices?
At this point, they're saying no. They think he acted alone, and he has no prior criminal record. There was no criminal database, for example. That's why the DNA match was so tricky here. And they had to go through one of these family matching DNA websites. He was not in the criminal base because he has no criminal record. And at this point, police have been pretty clear they think he acted alone.
There's another question from a viewer here. We know police ultimately making an arrest through that public DNA search that you were mentioning. And then there was the tip about the white car near the crime scene. Tina from Sebastian, Florida wants to know how police tracked him down. She asks, did the police have the license number all along? Did the police just search their ticket database and search the license plates across the nation to find the suspect?
That's a really interesting question. It's a great question because there are actually 2 tracks that could have led to police identifying Bryan Kohberger, and they both could have been working simultaneously at the same time. We know that on December 7th, they put out that alert that they're looking for a white Elantra that had been spotted near the crime scene around the time of the 4 murders. That went out on December 7th. We know that Bryan and his father were driving across the country and were stopped on December 15th twice within an hour in the state of Indiana. Indiana State Police and the Sheriff's Office have been clear that at that point, they had no license plate information. They didn't have even a state of a license plate, much less the license plate number, which is why they did not stop Bryan Kohberger and his father when they pulled him over once for speeding and once for tailgating. So we do know that obviously they must have seen there was a white Elantra seen near the murder. What I'm sure they did at that point, Adrienne, was look around to see who in the area might have had and owned a white Elantra. Simultaneously, we know they gathered some sort of DNA from the crime scene. That house had a lot of kids in it. I can't imagine how much DNA might have been in that house. But we do know that they've said that at least 1 or 2 of the victims had defensive wounds, which means they fought back, which means under their fingernails might have been some DNA evidence. They took whatever DNA evidence they found either under the victim's fingernails or at the crime scene, and then they put that into data banks for people looking for family trees. The 2 biggest data banks refuse to cooperate with police, but the 2 others that do are GenMatch and Family Tree DNA. They were able to find a match. They knew they were looking for a man, so they eliminated most likely all the females, all the women, and were able somehow through finding cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents to narrow that down. Obviously, once you start looking at a family tree, even if it's a big one, you're looking at who might have been near the murder area. Kohberger. I mean, you know, it jumps right out at that point. His proximity to the murder scene, the fact that he owned a white Elantra, and the fact that the DNA databank showed at least somebody in that family tree, if not Bryan Kohberger himself, was the match for the DNA, would have got them to him. Finally, sorry, it's such a long answer. We know that the FBI was tracking Bryan Kohberger for 4 days before they arrested him. They could have been waiting and watching for him to throw out a coffee cup, do something, throw out a food wrapper, something that might have his DNA on it. They may have also done a final DNA test with a DNA sample from him that he unwittingly left and made the match at that point.
Okay, I know we're out of time right now, but you gave us so much, Elizabeth, to go on. We did have one question from D. Laura. She wanted to know if any tips from the public helped, but it seemed as though investigators had that DNA in that car, and it was the public who alerted them to that white vehicle. So I guess that would be the answer there.
That would be an answer there. And listen, we know that they got 19,000 tips, and we're going to know a lot more, Adrienne, once he arrives in Idaho and the arrest warrant is opened. And by the way, there's speculation that one of the reasons why he might have waived his extradition so quickly is because he himself and his public defender want to know what information the police have. The police by law have to open up that arrest warrant once he arrives and is charged in Idaho. It becomes public information, not just to you, me, and everybody else who's been following this case, but to Bryan Kohberger and his defense team.
All right, Elizabeth Vargas, thank you very much for that thorough Q&A.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.